Before where I start a presentation, the screen isn't even showing.
Yes, everything looks good from here.
Cool, cool. So as you can hear, it's me and Todd here again. Yesterday we had a really amazing piece of training where Todd and his team took us through all of the tools. It was really cool, really in depth as well. I mean, it was literally hours of training. As far as I'm aware, Todd, that's now the replay's now actually up and available, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We do have that available now.
Cool, cool. So, if you didn't manage to catch that, please do go and watch that, obviously, after this webinar. So, just to give you a little bit of insight, I provided some advanced training for everybody like yourselves who got this upgrade, and you can find that in there. We talked about things like pricing, getting payments in, and things like that. But I noticed from seeing questions that have come through, there were certain things that weren't answered, and a lot of them revolved around how do I sell, how do I actually begin, how do I get started, and all that kind of thing. So what we're covering today isn't so much software related, it's more related to strategies. So you can take these strategies and you can go ahead. Now, if you've not watched the first piece of training I did, that's in the members area as well. Do go and check that out. It'll prove really helpful for you. So what we've got for you today is we've got some strategy training, which I'm going to take you through, and then Todd's going to take you through some more tools that can actually help you really lock on to exactly the right people, and you'll be able to really easily implement some really cool, sneaky strategies I've got that are really going to help you sell. And we're going to be dealing with some common objections as well because yesterday I was talking to some people online whilst Todd was doing the demo, and there were some pretty interesting problems that people came up against. Some of them I'd encountered before, some of them that I hadn't. So I've been working on those today, and I want to present my results to you. Now, I'm about to pop into a presentation. I'll be giving the slides to Todd. Okay, so there will be that available. But as I was just explaining to Todd before we started the webinar, for some reason, I cannot always see questions that come in while I'm doing the presentation. They just don't appear until I exit back out. So if I don't answer your questions, and I'm talking, please don't think I'm ignoring you. It's just the fact that for whatever reason on a Mac, when I go full screen, I can't see it. And if I don't put it full screen, for a lot of people it's too small. So with all that said, guys, let's get started. I've got a lot of cool strategies to get through. I will be providing the slides. We are recording this, but don't ever rely on a replay because with GoToWebinar, things can really easily go wrong, as I've found out many times in the past.
No kidding.
You know exactly what I mean, I think, Todd.
Yes, I do.
Very easy to go wrong. So, like I say, guys, I'm going to go into full screen mode now. If I miss any of your questions, I'll come back to them. Like I say, it can be a little difficult for me. First things first, I want to just give you a little bit of background. This is the second piece of training. Like I say, I did the first piece of training all about here's what you should charge, here's how you can take the money, here's how you can deal with people who don't pay. And this is kind of a follow-up, just giving you a little bit more in-depth stuff just to help you out. And so my name, for those of you who don't know, is Steve Ben. And obviously, Todd's the creator of Cloud Prospect Machine and the SEO Command Center, which it lives in. And that's, kind of the bigger product here. So my quick story for you. How I actually became involved with Cloud Prospect Machine and Simon and Todd is a mutual friend of ours, Simon Warner, who we've known each other for years, and I kind of help out and do stuff with him and vice versa. Here's what happened. About sort of 3 months ago, I was saying to him, I love all the stuff that I do with local businesses, but I'd kind of had to pull back from SEO because we'd really struggled to compete on price anymore. And, we were calling people up and they were saying, oh, some guy just called me up and he could barely speak English. He didn't know anything about my business. And he had this really low price. And bizarrely, people were actually buying this and then they were getting awful results. And I was ending up getting clients who had got One example was a gastropub in the UK that I had as a client, and they actually came to me and they weren't getting traffic, and it was because somebody had over-optimized the site. And those menu links that used to be everywhere with the keywords in, they were all over the bottom. They just put every variation of the keyword in. So when Penguin and Panda came along, they got slapped. And those sites where they'd done other crazy things like that and done all sorts of weird things they shouldn't have been doing, they all got slapped. So that, combined with all of the other issues with such low pricing, people doing shady jobs, the spam emails going on about SEO, I realized it wasn't for me. So I just pulled back to consulting. But when I heard about Mobilegeddon, I knew that we were going to get an exact repeat of what had happened with those Google slaps in 2011. And I knew that was a huge opportunity. But as you already know, you all signed up, it was an ethical opportunity. It was this really ethical opportunity to help people out. So Simon says to me, hey, I know exactly the guy who can sort this out. He's got software that automates all of this. And I got introduced to Cloud Prospect Machine. I absolutely loved it. And the rest, they say, I guess, is history. So I decided to put together some training. Like I say, the first part is already in the members area. And the reason I think I'm qualified to kind of give this training is I've been running my own local business consultancy since 2005, 2006. As some of you all know, I used to share an office with a guy called Eddie James. We started up a web design and SEO consultancy. And when I look back, we did so little back then to get it started. It was so easy back then to do it. But since then, as you know, it's become harder to sell SEO unless you've got really good skills. And quite frankly, mine had declined. And so I just went for the high ticket consulting. But the thing is, if you can reach out to new businesses and you can bring them in with stuff like this, you can just happily sell them SEO services. You can sell them consultancy services. You can do all sorts of stuff. What you're looking for is a way in. And I knew that Mobilegeddon was that way in. It was the easy way to say, hey, you've got a problem. It's going to affect you. Here's why. And I can help you. And that's why I just absolutely loved the report that the software produces, because it does it in such a good way. It says, here are the bad points. And it's different for every site. It's unique. And that's so powerful in terms of selling. And that's why I think with Cloud Prospect Machine, you don't need to do an awful lot of selling. The problem's really evident. The media have been screaming about it. And that unique breakdown is such a good way to sell. And what I really liked about what Todd did here is he didn't just say, hey, everything's wrong with your site. It's horrible. He's saying these are the specific things. It's been really specific and laser focused. And that really builds up trust. And the more you can get potential customers to know, like, and trust you, the more sales you're going to get. It's as simple as that. So I knew that this was the next opportunity to kind of help businesses out in an ethical way. So as I mentioned earlier, for those of you just joining us, we're covering more about selling strategies. But be aware that this is advanced, and like I say, is a follow-on from the first training I did, exclusively for people who got the upgrade that's already in the members area. Now, for those of you just joining us, because I'm doing this full screen, because people say to me each time, Steve, can you put this full screen? How it works on a Mac, I can't see your questions coming in, so please don't think I'm ignoring you. So, quick thing I'll mention again as well, replay, yes, we are recording this, but as I just said with Todd, we both know things could go wrong with GoToWebinar recordings. You go and it doesn't play, or it doesn't convert properly, or something's missing. Things can go really, really wrong. So as long as everything goes okay technically, there'll be a replay, but of course you're going to miss out on the live aspects, so do stick with us. So what we're not covering is how to price, charge, bill, or deal with difficult payers. And the reason for that is we've already done that in the first advanced lesson, okay, which was exclusively for you guys who got the upgrade. So let's get rid of all of the kind of the prep stuff, get into the really good strategies now, because we've got the software, we know the problem, we know how to solve it, all we need to do is sell. First things first, and this is really important. The more you can qualify a prospect, and a prospect is somebody who might become a customer, the easier it is to sell to them because they're already more likely to buy. So if you can figure out that they're already involved in marketing, such as they're using Yellow Pages, or maybe they're paying for Facebook advertising, or they do a lot on Twitter, maybe they've got mobile coupons, or they've got a Google business profile, or they're listed on something like Yelp, you know that they obviously believe in marketing, or they've at least given it a try. One of the worst things I see is when a business owner is approached who barely has a website, okay, and they don't have anything else that they're doing. Maybe it's just a really basic page. It's what I call a vanity page. Nothing on there. Maybe their address and that's it. And you can tell maybe their spouse told them to get the page, or a business partner. They didn't want to be on the internet. There are still businesses like that. Some people see them as opportunities. I don't. I figure we've had now over 10 years of Google, Microsoft, Facebook spending billions to convince people to do business on the web, to advertise on the web, to get a Google profile, to be on Google Maps, to be listed in Bing. If they're not doing it after all those people have said, we can't make them. So save your time and move on. But if you can find somebody who's in Yellow Pages, who is paying for print advertising or doing any of those things, or is even, actually got a physical store maybe, or looks like they're doing great business, they're the right people to go after. So if you want to sell Mobilegeddon, make your life easier. Don't try and go after those prospects where you think, oh, wow, there's such an amazing opportunity here. I could sell them everything. Go after those ones who look like they're actually going to be interested, that they believe in marketing. And that's what we call qualified. So to put it another way, do you really want to try and sell to a business that only has a vanity web page? How much cash have they spent on marketing before? Probably not very much. Now, do you want to try and sell to a business that's getting ready to close down, or they're selling something that kind of doesn't fit in anymore? I'm looking at video rental stores. There are still a few around, and quite frankly, they're going to be a difficult sell unless you know some great reason why they're going to be around. Next, I've seen some local marketers go after owners who blatantly are running down their business and getting ready to retire. That's just a bad move as well, in my opinion. So if you want to succeed, you don't want to be trying to close prospects who can't or won't pay as well. If you're seeing a business that looks like it's on the edge of going under, as much as I know some of you, I know from talking to you, some of you want to reach out, you want to help. Understand that you're very unlikely to get paid and make a decision based on that. There's nothing wrong with helping out a business in difficulty, but saying, hey, instead of paying, I'd like a testimonial, maybe even a video testimonial. That's really powerful, by the way. But understand that you're unlikely to get paid. People make you all sorts of promises and never come through. Now, what I've found these businesses as well is even when they do well, then they forget about you and it's still difficult to get paid. In other words, no good deed goes unpunished in some cases. So you want to avoid those people who can't or won't pay and will tell you anything to get you on board. I'd rather you go out and do work for a local community organization, your church, religious organization, something like that, where you know you're doing it for free. You're working for a charity, you understand you're doing it for free. Don't waste your time with people who don't believe in marketing or don't trust you. And by that, I mean people ask a lot of questions. I remember when I started, I used to get a few people who'd ask me about my age. And, it's not like I was particularly young at the time, but I knew that they didn't trust me or have confidence in me. And that was an issue I had to deal with. But you can't always deal with them at the time. You've got to kind of deal with them beforehand by preempting it. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how to deal with objections before they appear. And then when they do appear, how to slap them back down. Now, the reason I've gone on about all of this is time is money. The less time you spend chasing after deadbeats, people who can't pay, people who won't pay, and again, you can see that in video 1, the easier it's going to be for you to get sales. That's going to put your mood up. It's going to give you more time to deal with the people who need your help. And it's going to mean you get the cash in quicker. To me, that's 3 wins in a row. So the 3 keys for focusing on the right type of prospects is somebody who knows that they need help to some degree. If they're completely unaware of Mobilegeddon, where have they been? Quite possibly, unless you can explain it very quickly and they get what you're on about, avoid them. Next, they've got to understand what you've got to offer them and how it will work. In other words, hey, you're about to lose 50% of your traffic, or you already have. A lot of people are finding you because they're on their cell phones. That's about to stop, which means a real impact on you. I can solve that by making a mobile compliance site. Here's your report. Here's what we need to fix. Here's how I'll do it. And then you simply ask for the sale. Look, I can get this sorted for you. It's $50 a month. Now, I know that Todd's spoken about charging $25 a month just for the site. What you could do is you could charge an upfront fee as well. Personally, I've found you can charge more than $25 if you're stretching out the fee, but you need to work out what's best for you. And like I say, we discussed more about fees in the last video. Now here's a quick example for you. Okay, a great prospect is somebody who's in a high profit per customer niche. So imagine that you're trying to sell to a pizzeria who's actually they just deliver, okay, and they just sell cheap pizzas. We know they don't make much per customer. And the fact is, people are at home when they order the pizza. They're probably going to be on their desktop, aren't they, or a laptop. They could be on a tablet, but you're cutting out that cell phone traffic from when people walk around. Now, look at a restaurant which has a high profit per customer, and people will come in because they're taking their wife or girlfriend or significant other out, or maybe even for a business deal. They're on their cell phone. They're looking for a great Italian that's sort of within 30 minutes drive. They are going to be affected. They have a high profit per customer. Then look at people like chiropractors. Okay, have a look at people in the legal profession, accountants, people like them. They might not be quite as reliant on cell phone traffic and tablet traffic. It's still going to affect them though, and they want to be visible to people because they make so much per client. Now, the next type of good customer is the one that has a great website. Okay, it looks good. You can tell effort's been put into it. It's just outdated and it wasn't ready for mobile. Okay, they probably paid out a lot of cash. They're justifiably proud of that website, and that's why I love the approach of Cloud Profit Machine, which isn't just to put down everything. It's just to tell them what's wrong, but then make them aware of the implications. Next, people who've got a proven history of marketing. So if you're seeing them in the yellow pages in your local newspaper, advertising on local cable channels, Facebook ads, flyers, tweets, these are people who are worth approaching. But one of the questions I got yesterday when we were doing the live training on the software is people were asking, how do I get the most from it? How do I actually start? So like I said, we're not covering the software today. We are covering those marketing strategies. And what I want to start off with is how exactly you start. First key, identify the right group of people and do it in what I call an area exclusive way. I'm going to just talk about this now because it's very important. I like to focus on two things, niche and region. Now, if you're in the States, you'll be thinking, what's that weird word he's saying? You might say niche. I'm in the UK, we say niche. Please excuse me on that. Here's the best thing to do. If you want to sell easily, pick a niche first, okay? And pick a niche that maybe is a business type that you care about or that you use or that you know is likely to be qualified. Now, Todd spoke yesterday about how he's not so keen on the legal profession. Well, that's fine. You might not be so keen either. But what about restaurants, bars, boutiques, dentists? There's all sorts of medical stuff. Here's one that I do, and it's actually pretty successful, golf stores, okay? I happen to live quite near a golf course. There are a few others within a few miles. There's always a golf store nearby that sells really expensive equipment. They typically get lots of passing trade. They don't want to lose out, but they also have an online presence as well. Now, here's the great thing. When you decide to pick a niche and then you pick an area, you say, hey, do you know what? I can only work with one Italian restaurant in this area. It wouldn't be fair for me to work with anybody else. Now, I know some of you will be thinking, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I'm going to lose out on a whole load of people. But it means you can charge more. You're much more likely to get the deal and quickly. And because of Cloud Profit Machine and the mobile builder, you can sort out the problem so quickly that you can quickly move on to the next business while securing yourself a recurring income and the customer who will want to pay you again in future. And of course, you can limit the area. So you can say, hey, do you know what? I can only work with one, whatever the business type is, in the north of the city. And then you just go around the other regions. So you could go around the rest of your city, go out to the expanding area. So in the US, you could be just then expanding out into other major cities that are nearby in the state. In the UK, you'd be doing that within a county. And what it means is you get to know bits about the business. So you're starting off with that niche. Let's say you're starting off with roofers, okay? So one of the things I've looked into is the average lead value for our businesses. And the average lead value for a roofer, okay, and this is very average, it's going to vary, is about $60 to $70. Okay, that's how much a lead is worth to them. So you think how much a customer is worth to them, you get them a new customer. Well, if you're bringing them traffic, you're potentially bringing them leads. So you can start to figure out, and using your own common sense, is this a good niche to start with? And if it is, by doing this area exclusive marketing, you stick with that one niche, you contact everyone in a certain area. Once you've done with that, you might get a couple of customers, you might not, but you'll understand the typical sort of, I found each business type has particular objections and particular interests. So for things like bars, restaurants, things like that, they're going to care about walk-in traffic. People who find them and literally have found them an hour before and they call up for a booking, something like that. Other types of business, not so bothered about the walk-in trade. Okay, not so important. Accountants, CPAs are a great example of this. You're unlikely like half an hour or an hour before to actually try and get on board, particularly for those that deal with businesses. So they are interested in different aspects, and you kind of pick this stuff up. And so when you move on to the next area, same niche, you already know stuff to deal with. And the typical kind of questions that come up with, that means your emails, voice conversations, meetings, however you do it, print, seems much more confident. And you're talking to them specifically and they can feel that. That means you're way more likely to get the sale. Ultimately, this means you look like a bit of an expert already. So wait a minute, you kind of understand the niche. You're telling them about a problem that definitely affects them, and you can explain how it affects them, and you know the way they care about it the most, such as walk-in traffic, such as maybe people seeing their website, such as them just getting lots of sales online, whatever it is, you understand that more. You understand what the local concerns are, and you just keep going around all the areas. You've got that little extra edge as an expert, which all the people just who in 6 months will be calling up and saying, hey guys, here's what we can do for you. It's $300 and that's it. And that's all they're doing. And then in a year's time, it will literally be somebody who can barely speak English or spam emails just coming through that are not specific at all to them. And I tell you, unfortunately, people will still be signing up, but it means you or I can't charge a lot, okay? And we can't compete anymore. But if you lock these people in now, these are people who will be loyal customers. And trust me, Todd's adding so much stuff to what you've bought, and he's got so many great ideas all the time. You will have plenty of new things to do to help them out ranking-wise and to help them get results. So that's plenty of local SEO clients for you and new services you can offer. So view this as a gateway, a great way to build a relationship, get some cash, and get people on board. Now, once you've actually done one region, you move on to the other regions. And once you've done with that niche, you move on to another one. Repeat the process. The thing I hate to see is where people randomly pick different niches. Today I contacted a grocery store. I contacted a car hire firm. I went to a gym. Then I went to a beauty salon. And then I went to an investment broker. And it's like, those are all random. You're not going to get any level of rapport with them because you don't understand what's going on. And the thing is, it doesn't take long. Once you start getting that expert knowledge, you can be in and out really quickly and get the deals. Now, here's a really, really quick strategy for you, okay? And I hope more people start doing this. You know the report that the software produces? Try mailing it, okay? Just literally include a quick covering letter that says, hi, my name's Steve. I'm your local marketing expert, and I've been really worried about this mobile game. And I put a little thing from maybe a newspaper or something, do a search on Google, pick out a good quote and say, you know what, I've been checking into local businesses. It looks like yours is affected. It's not all bad. In actual fact, yours is a lot easier to fix than other people's, and we do it for you really quickly. I'd love for you to give me a call on X number, or I'd love for you to email me. That's incredibly powerful. Next, if you do that strategy, okay, follow up. If they don't get back to you, give them a call, send them an email. Many of them will just be too busy or keep putting it off and forgetting because they're a little bit nervous. But get in touch, let them know you're a person, and just calm them down, answer their questions. And this is, again, why the whole area exclusive approach, where you go via one niche, go around all the regions, move on to the next niche, go around the regions again. That's why doing one niche at a time really works. You really connect with people, and you'll find the particular objections. Once you've answered them once, whether it's via post, mail, email, or a meeting, or on the phone, you'll find you can answer it really, really easily the next time. You'll be really confident. That'll come across in whatever way you're communicating, radically increases the chance of your sale. So that's that conversation and that kind of just level of confidence and understanding really helps. And just by following it, you'll be surprised how many extra sales you close. It's the same with email as well. Todd yesterday showed you how you can use various different systems just to see if your email's been opened. None of them are foolproof, by the way. There really isn't a foolproof way to do it. One thing to remember, though, is with Gmail, which about 60% of people have, it is possible to measure email open. So if you're using something like, I think, certainly Mandrill supports it, it will track opens. And I know that we've got integration with Mandrill in CPM. So what about telephone? I had a couple of people ask about this. I was a little bit surprised, to be honest. A lot of people kind of pull away from telephone, but it's actually a really easy way to get results. And here's a good strategy. Some of you will be saying, how do you get a telephone number? Well, if somebody's listed in things like the Yellow Pages, or you can find it on their website, or they've got other business listings, just literally give them a call, because they have to take action there and then. Look to that basic sort of thing of, hey there, my name is. I'm calling because I've been looking to websites in the local area, businesses that have been affected by Mobilegeddon. I'm not sure if you're aware, but around 50% of your traffic is coming from mobile. So that's cell phone and tablets. And basically, you've been penalized by Google. That's going to go away. Were you aware of that? See what they say. And then you can choose to respond. And of course, you can tell them that you can build them a solution, or you can show them the report. You can say, I'm just going to email you through a report. Can you check on your cell phone or you near your computer? They go and check. Oh, wow, look at these issues. They can then talk directly over the phone with you about that. If they're not keen at the time, say, I sent you through a report. If you just want to reply back to me with any questions that you have, okay, that's not a hard sell. They understand they've got a problem. And because you're so specific, it comes across as you being the cool dude. You're friendly, you're nice, you're just wanting to help them out. This isn't some sort of horrible hard sell where you're backing them into a corner. Now, it's up to you. You don't have to use the phone at all. You can use it as the first point of contact, or you can follow up on mail or email. That's really easy to do and powerful. And in terms of a script, you can look at the same basic structure of the email, so you can do what I've just talked about. But make sure you always have that script printed out in front of you. I know some people leave it on the screen and then it gets lost, or some people try it without a script. Unless you're really good on the phone, I don't recommend that. Have it printed out next to you, and you can even have a few common questions and answers. And what I found is when I'm doing anything like this, I kind of build it up and I get used to it. So whether you're doing email, in-person, phone, snail mail, you need that script. Don't make it complex. Get in there and get out. That's what I would say. So again, hi, I am, or my name is, and you can say that you're an SEO expert, or I'm part of, Web Marketing Sheffield, something like that. I'm just calling you because I've been doing some research and I've noticed that you're affected by the Mobilegeddon changes. Basically, you've been penalized and you could lose up to 50% of your traffic, because that's about the amount now that comes from cell phones and tablets. And I just wondered if you had a moment to talk over a few issues with your website. The crazy thing is, it's not all bad for you. There are just a few things that need fixing and you'll get your traffic back. And remember, guys, a fear of loss is one of the most powerful reasons for somebody to take action. Everybody loves to gain something new, but what we want even more is to keep hold of what we've already got. So they're already, if they understand the situation and the media's been talking to them about it, they already understand that there's a need to do something. So just ask them for the commitment. There's no real need for a hard sell. You can say, if you're using the area exclusive mode, look, I can only take one business this month in this part of the city. I am calling round some of your competitors today, or I am emailing them. The first response, I guess that's the person I'll be going with. I really hope it's you. So just tell them that you've put together the report on the website, ask them to look at it, and then say, can you just have a look over that? Can I answer any questions for you? Once they've gone through it, and say, look, I can solve this for you. Would you like me to do that for you? Here's how long it's going to take. Here's what it's going to cost. Would you like to go ahead? Now, here are some special phone tactics. I was quite surprised when questions came up over using the telephone, but make sure you have that script in front of you. Have what I call a scratch pad, a blank piece of paper and a pen, so you can doodle down either to get rid of nerves or so you can write down any unusual issues that come up. So they could say, hey, we've got a guy who's doing this for us automatically. They might say, I've already got a web design agency. We're going to come to that objection in a moment. I've got a perfect solution for that. So make sure you know who you're calling as well. Don't just be really generic. Take 5 minutes, just have a look at their website, see what it is they specialize in and what they do. And if you know the area as well, that helps. And using the area exclusive strategy can help as well. Now, here's a really sneaky strategy that we mentioned at the start. Send along something, okay? If you're on the phone, say, hey, I'm just mailing you through some stuff. And just mail them through various clippings and screenshots you've taken of media coverage. If you're doing it via print, mail it out, then follow up by phone. And you can combine this with email as well. Next big thing, stand up when you talk. I promise you it's going to alter the quality of your voice. You'll come across as more confident. Slow down how fast you talk more than you would normally. Now, when you're talking fast, you're communicating enthusiasm. But we only want the enthusiasm once you're getting close to a sale. Initially, we need to get them up to speed with us. We need to get them feeling the same thing. So what that means is we need to talk slowly and clearly, communicate exactly what the problem is, that there is an issue, but it's not the end of the world. Next, try and smile when you talk as well, okay? And any nervous energy, this works in meetings as well, guys. Just wiggle your toes. Nobody's going to notice, and it can really just help calm you down. Deep breathing as well. But what I found with doing stuff on the phone is be prepared beforehand. Know who you're going to talk to, know what you're going to say, and know how you're going to deal with a rejection. That gives you a lot of confidence. So next, you want to tell them what you're going to do. Once you've got that initial interest, be it by mail, phone, email, meeting at a networking event, whatever, you need to show them what you're going to do for them. So at this point, it might be you're about to tell them, here's what I can do. And they go, oh, well, actually, I've got a bit of an objection. So they stop you in your tracks. This can really finish you off if it's in a meeting or it's over the phone. If it's actually not sort of live, obviously you can deal with it if it's email or, God forbid, if somebody's actually trying to do the whole thing by mail, which I've never had happen, you could deal with this much easier. So let's quickly look at some of the reasons somebody might not want to go ahead and how can we mitigate them. And this is kind of based on some questions I've had recently, some issues I faced myself, and something I saw on the webinar yesterday. Now, the first thing is people want to say they don't understand why it matters to them. Well, one of the things here is to just reiterate that mobile traffic's really grown. A lot of people aren't aware of this. A lot of local business owners aren't. A lot are as well, and they're the ones that are scared. But few people know that now in the US, the UK, it's getting to around 50% of total traffic. With some business types, it actually could be higher because it could be 50% of traffic, but 70% of actual buyers and customers who pay. If you can't educate them, look to send through those clips and then say they'll get back in touch. Some people, it's not worth trying to get through to those. I said, if Google and Bing have spent all this money and Facebook have, maybe you're not going to be the guy that tips them over the edge. Or go. Next is people who say it's not affordable. And what that usually means is that they don't trust you or they don't recognize that the problem's worth solving. There's an easy question to ask here and just say, okay, so how much is a customer worth to you? Now, many of them don't know. And this is a key business thing they should know, but I promise you about 3/4 have no clue. About 1/3 of them will admit it to you. The rest will just lie. And the third who admit will either say, I know or I don't know. But when you get them thinking about that, when they say, oh, I really don't know, they'll say, well, just guess how much you think you make on average a customer. And they'll say, oh, okay, I make $50 per customer. And then say, well, how many paying customers do you get a month? And they'll say, oh, we get around 1,000. So I say, okay, that's 50,000 a month you're making. How are you going to feel if half of that just disappears or even more? And they'll say, I'd feel gutted. So you want to keep the 25,000. I can totally understand that. And we're not asking anything like that. We're asking just $25 a month to sort this out. Okay, guess what, guys? I've already, in fact, even done the website for you. See if you like it first. Take the risk away from them. Now, here are some more general questions that might be useful for you. I can't think of all the objections, but If you get an objection, just say, do you know how many of your users are actually using cell phone and mobile devices? And some of them will say, I haven't really got a clue, or I don't think many. And particularly with restaurants and bars, they don't seem to think it's important. So, well, is footfall and passing trade important to you? And for a lot of local businesses with storefronts, it is. Particularly the more traditional ones that can be hard to get on board as well. So here's what you do. Okay, with that passing trade, do you not think that many of them are checking their cell phone and they're coming in? And if they say, I'm not sure about it, I say, well, how many of them were using their cell phone during the meal that you served them, during the drinks that you served them, during the event that they attended? Okay, whilst you were doing their nails, whilst you were outfitting them for new shoes, whilst you were testing their eyes, how many of them had to put their phone away? How many during your event were texting or talking to somebody? And I tell you what, so many of them say, oh gosh, yeah, it's so annoying. And they say, well, you see, the people who are using your services, buying your products, eating at your restaurant, guess what? They are using their phones. So isn't it likely that a percentage of those, a significant percentage, are finding your business through that? And if they say no, that's not the case, we'll say, well, sir, you are missing out on a huge business opportunity because your rivals are getting business from people on cell phones. And so you've got them then. It's either you need to be pushing your mobile site because you're missing out, or if you've got one and you believe it works, then your customers have to be coming from that, and therefore Mobilegeddon is a threat. And so by talking them down this path, there are only two options typically that they can answer here. So it's kind of a win-win. They either realize that they're missing out on a huge business opportunity by not believing, whether it's true or not, remember guys, by not believing that customers come from that angle. If they genuinely don't believe customers come from that angle, almost every business can benefit from that. Obviously, they need something that's Mobilegeddon ready. You can do that for them. If they do believe that they get a significant amount of traffic from mobile devices such as cell phones and tablets, well, then obviously they don't want those customers to go away. You've asked what the average business value is of a new customer. Whether they lied or told you the truth, they've now got a number fixed in their head. Oh, wow, if I did make $30 a customer and they do get 1,000 customers a month, that's 30,000. I'd lose 15,000. Oh, gosh, it's totally worth it to pay $25 a month. So what we've done is we've actually said to them, look, we're an investment that pays for itself straight away. How can you argue with that? So this is going to cut out most of the most complex objections you have. The next big one, and this kind of threw me, was we already have a web developer. But this is actually a really easy one to do. Somebody says, do you know what, you're right about this issue, but we already have a web developer. There's a simple way to deal with this, guys. Okay, so have Super SEO Services London informed you about Mobilegeddon? And if they say yes, you say you do realize this came into effect on April 21st and you're already penalized. I mean, I've already done all the testing and Google's official service is saying that you've been penalized. Saying, are you aware of that? And they'll say yes or no. And then regardless, you say, well, has your web development team or SEO team, have they told you that you've been penalized? And have they sorted it for you? Because you're still showing as penalized to me. And inevitably, they've got to say either they're working on it, which only a small percentage of people will actually lie about. Obviously, if they do genuinely have somebody working on it, time to end the call, be polite. You never know. They might become a customer in future on something else. If that doesn't work, then just say, okay, so this great web design company, this great SEO company, they've not actually fixed the issue for you, and you've been affected now for, 2 or 3 weeks. Doesn't that worry you with such an important issue when you're losing up to 50% of your traffic? And hopefully, guys, you can start to see how this all ties together. So at this point, the only real objections are they can't afford this, or they just don't understand the web. And as I said, if Google, Bing, Facebook, if Yahoo, if they can't solve that, you can't. The other thing is that they don't believe there's an issue. They don't believe they're affected by mobile traffic. I think we've got a good approach for that. It's either you're missing out on a huge opportunity if they don't believe that they've currently got mobile traffic. If they do, it can be solved. You will get a small percentage of business owners who are so depressed about the state of their business that they'll be like, oh, I'll never get mobile traffic. our people will never buy. But if you remember earlier, I spoke about there are certain types of businesses it's not worth pursuing. Just move on, be polite, and move on. The only other objection is that they don't believe in you or they don't know, like, and trust you. Now, if you have multiple points of contact, it can actually help sales-wise, just because these repeated points of contact, basically build up a little bit of familiarity. You're not using a hard sell. You're not telling them that everything's wrong with their website, so they should like you to a certain extent. They don't have to be your best friend. And in terms of trust, well, how do you generate trust? Well, it's about actually reducing the risk. But let's just focus on those that don't understand. If you really want to try and convert these guys, as I said before, email them or mail them through clippings. You can send them videos, so you can literally be on the phone with them, mail them a video. But beyond that, you can't do much more. Leverage that media coverage, make the most of quotes and statistics, but understand that this shouldn't be a hard sell. If it starts getting that way, just be polite, wind it up, and move on. If they don't believe in you, okay, I've faced this in the past. There's not an awful lot you can do if you don't have testimonials. I would always recommend, if you haven't got testimonials, guys, do a few free jobs in exchange for testimonials for local charities, even local businesses that you think need a helping hand. Ask for that testimonial quickly. Now, typically I found people who don't believe in you, they might not express it directly, but I found a lot of people ask an awful lot of questions, typically don't sign up. I've heard some people say, when people ask a lot of questions, it shows they're really engaged, but over a certain tipping point, it actually means they're very insecure. There's also another subgroup, and they're actually looking to bootstrap. They want to find out everything you will do so they can do it themselves. So you should explain that you've got software that you've become an expert in, and you can do it extra fast because of the software. That cuts out a lot of questions. And the bootstrappers you're not going to get a sale out of, they're penny pinchers, let them go, okay? Let that fish go back into the sea. So let's say they don't believe in you, but none of those are the issue. Then it's got to be testimonials, case studies, and proof. Like, say, do free work to build that up. Now, here's the super solution. And, Todd's really sorted you guys out with this, in that you can create a mobile site, and you can do it without paying. And if they're not interested, you can just cancel it, okay? So create the website beforehand. I mean, if you did this on a call and you introduced it as a one more thing at the end, oh, by the way, we've actually sorted this for you. If they sound interested, that's going to get the sale there and then. Now, if they're not interested, you just create it afterwards. Or you're on the phone, you're at email, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. Email them back, go, do you know what? I wanted to help you out. I've already put together your website, okay? I decided to go out on a limb because I love what you're doing and see how it's really affected your business. So I wanted to help you out. And that instantly generates gratitude and a genuine want to reciprocate. And also, it really is going to build up that like and trust because you've created the website before they've even paid you. So now they feel a little indebted to you. And, basically at this point, it's job done. If this, at the end of the process, doesn't solve it for you, just move on. It's a really, really impressive way to do it. Okay, and it gets you a ton of goodwill. I'd like to just give you a quick thing to think about whenever you're doing this, whether it's by mail or by phone or whatever. Some will, some won't, so what? And then just move on. Some will, some won't, so what? Move on. And if you have that attitude and you get to know the niche as well, and you get to know the problems and the particular types of objections, honestly, you'll start to see patterns. You can do this really, really quickly, whatever method you use. It's not a hard sell. It's a genuine problem. Now, of course, once you've actually got them to say yes, you have a choice. You can choose to charge them, and you can do that monthly. You can do that as a one-off payment, where you get all the cash up front. Maybe you do it yearly. Or you could say, if you think they want other services, you could build goodwill and include it with that. Now, I think there's a case to be made, particularly maybe in 3-4 months, that you actually, if you've got other services to sell, you actually do this for free for people just to build up that goodwill. That's an option as well. Of course, if you don't have other services to sell, charge. Now, why did I say in 3 to 6 months do that? Because the competition is going to be heavier. And because you can still go in there and be this ethical sort of problem-solving hero, it's another strategy. Now, when charging, should you go for one-off? Just a one-off payment, maybe a yearly payment. With businesses, you're typically going to find not all of them will just stick with you indefinitely on recurring unless you can keep adding new things. They'll become a little complacent. So I found with general services that I sell, getting one-off payments can sometimes be better than continuity. If you're going for a monthly rental model, where you can choose to charge them a fee up front for doing the site and then the renting of the hosting. But personally, I like to keep things simple. So what I do is I just charge a single fee, and I've kind of settled on $50, which I think at the moment is working out about £30 in the UK. It's kind of a nice sort of easy amount. But I'm doing this as lead generation, okay? It's nice to have the extra cash, and if you really want the cash, charge a one-off fee, but it's a great easy way to bring people in. So what now? Well, within the first 2 to 6 weeks of you actually starting to work with them, ask for that testimonial and review. If you're doing monthly billing with your invoice that you send through, always offer a discount or a free month or something for any recommendations that actually pan out and you get the sale. Really, really clever that. And, so many people don't do it. They don't include things on their invoice to generate extra income. So in conclusion, there you have it. That's how to deal with objections, close in an efficient manner, and prospect well. You have a vast amount of opportunity to help people and profit. Now, one of the easy ways to do this is to have people who advertise in things like Yellow Pages, is to have people where you can get hold of their phone number and their address so you can mail them. So you've got more than an email. Now, of course, you can do a lot by just emailing people out, but if you use these options as well, if you had a way to do that, you'd be closing people who are a lot more interested. In other words, they were more qualified. That does great wonders for your self-confidence. Means you can make more money if you're going after the people most likely to pay. So take action now before it's too late. I'm going to end the presentation here, this part of it. Let me just shrink this down. And I don't know if Todd is still here, but if he is, it would be great, Todd, if you could talk people through us, answer some of these questions. Just talk about the local listings analysis and local lead page finder.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, I'm still here. That was very informative. Thank you very much for that. I think I learned a lot better ways of selling now. Very good.
Oh, cool. Glad to be able to provide it today. I'll just quickly answer this question. It's all right. Passing trade. If you don't know what that means, that's literally people who are walking or driving past. So it's an impulse decision. Let's go to that restaurant. That boutique's got a sale on. Let's go in. Or, hey, I've just got a coupon or a voucher. Let's go there. It's in our local area. That's what local marketing is all about. Anywhere which has a storefront, certain percentage of people walk past, unless it's a restaurant that only takes bookings and never lets people go in any other way. So yeah, Todd, I'll hand over to you now.
Interesting. Okay. All right, cool. I'll do that, and I'll show you guys my screen. And
I'll just make you the presenter, Todd.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can, Todd.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're busy, but I did want to just provide a little bit of additional training and answer any of your questions for those of you that are here and would like to ask me any question regarding, all the tools here. I just want to also make clear that I'm in my account because I just have more stuff set in it, and you'll see a lot more tools over here on the left-hand side. You may not have all of these things. You may not have the full version of the SEO Command Center, and it has to do a lot with ranking websites and building private blog networks and rank tracking and a lot of other things. If you're interested in learning more about that, if you click on your dashboard, you should see a, I for some reason I don't see it right now, but I just saw it a minute ago. Can someone click on their dashboard and tell me if they see a YouTube video right here in the middle? I think I'm cached. in an older browser session. So it was right down here a minute ago. But anyway, there is a another video on this page on your dashboard. You should see it. Just saw it in another account. So it's there, and you can check that out, and you'll see how to get all these other tools. But it's kind of a different part. It wasn't included in Cloud Prospect Machine. Cloud Prospect Machine was the ability to find mobile sites that are non-mobile friendly, of course. And then we also had the local lead tools, the Yellow Pages Lead Finder, and the local listing analysis. And I just wanted to start this by saying, you know, Steve was absolutely right. Finding and building a customer's mobile web, finding a customer who needs a mobile-friendly website is probably the easiest thing you can do for a new client because of the tools that we have. Finding them is super simple. Checking if they're mobile friendly is super simple. Sending them an email, sending them, you know, contacting them some way is super simple. And then, of course, going to the mobile site builder and using the mobile command center and building them a website using those templates, even if it's like a demo website, which doesn't quite, you know, you don't have to spend very much time in order to create a decently looking mobile website using the templates that are inside the mobile builder. And if this is available to everyone, so if you have not already done so, please click on this to activate your account. Wait for an email to come to your inbox. Check your spam folder. If neither of those present you with a activation key, then please go to our support desk. Down here in the bottom under my account or somewhere down here, it'll say support, and tell me, hey, I've never got my activation key. Don't panic. I'll get it to you right away, or someone else in the support area will do that for you. And then simply click here to log into the mobile command center. Well, once you get the email, the activation key, you automatically get sent over there. But if you ever want to go there again, it's right here. Now, you'll find a lot of templates in there, and you can build like a demo, like Steve said. And then while you're on the phone with them, while you're in contact with them, say, hey, you know, I've got a pre-made site for you. You know, all I would have to do was get a little bit of information from you. You know, if you wanted to go the full route and, you know, get content from their website and do all that, it'd probably work out better for you, but you're just going to spend a little bit more time doing it. So I think everybody understands that. But so that's kind of the foot in the door, the simple way of selling someone, making a few bucks. You know, if you don't want to charge them $400 to make the site, then charge them $40 a month. Just say, look, I won't charge you any setup fee or any money to make the site, but how about $40 a month because I have to host a site over here in order for the mobile situation to work. So I think everybody gets that part, and that's the easiest way to get your foot in the door and help someone. Now the other thing that Steve was talking about is like this builds that goodwill, and this builds that rapport and that trust and that relationship with this client. And now you can use these other tools that we have over here in the local lead tools, and you can do a couple of things. If they're an existing client, you can use the site auditor, which is over here on the left-hand side. The site auditor will allow you to audit their website, and I'll show you that in just a minute. You can audit their website and find any other existing problems. And, you know, I mean, it's obvious. You'll find out pretty fast what their online media presence is. And there's a lot of ways that you can help them that don't require a lot of work and effort on your part, but can pull, you know, a recurring income from them, or several $100s for doing it. There's things like Facebook pages, which are simple to do. You know, social media is what that's called, social media management. You can even outsource that to someone else and make money that way. But it's finding those opportunities within those clients is what you need to do. Okay, I got some questions here. I want to get to these questions because I want to get to them as we go here so I don't forget them, because if I don't answer them now, then it's hard for me to go back and find them, and then I may not get back to them. The first question I see is, Jeffrey, you keep asking about that WordPress plugin mailer autoresponder. We cannot integrate that because it doesn't have an API. So that WordPress plugin cannot integrate with our system. Okay, I think I've seen that question a few times, and it just can't be done unless you can talk to the developer of that. Anyway, moving on. The second thing is why can't we integrate this into Aweber? Well, we could, but we can't force feed email addresses into your Aweber account without the user's permission. That's kind of that will get you in trouble with Aweber. It just wouldn't work. We are integrating a lot of mailing APIs into the Mobile Prospector tool. As you've probably seen, we've got a few more that we're also going to integrate in the future. Okay. So Aweber is pretty much a no, and IMC Rapid Mailer is pretty much a no. Just like I said, it can't be done there. I don't think IMC has an API. That's my point. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think everybody can hear me. I'm getting an API request when I log in. Could you explain this? Bev, whenever you first log in, what we would like for you to help us with is getting your Google Developers API key. And it's real simple. If you go to my account and you see right here, Google PageSpeed Insights API, click here for instructions. Okay. If you have I'm sure you have a Gmail account or a Google account or a YouTube account. Everyone has some account with Google. And it's simply clicking on this link right here and logging in to everyone has this, and you can create a project. And there's a video on how to do that, and it takes about, I think I made the video, and it takes all of 1 minute. If you want to click here for the instructions, here's a tutorial video on how to do that. And you can see it's all of 1 minute and 29 seconds. And I'm doing it while I'm talking. So if you could help us out, paste in that Google API key, that'd be great, because that helps us talk to Google and get some of the results that we need. Okay, that really helps us out talking with them, so we don't get blocked, and we come in right in through the front door through their API keys, and we don't get in trouble for that. Okay, Robert says no sound. Can other people hear me? Give me a 1 if you can hear me.
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, Robert, I'm sorry. Okay, now, okay, Robert, now he's got sound back. Okay, good. Okay, so that's the current questions I see. Just if you have any more, just answer them. But I'm going to go over a couple of other things real quick that we talked about, as far as some more ways to just find leads, find people that are in need. So the first thing I like to do is go to the Yellow Pages Lead Finder, because this is a really good source for information. I mean, you can simply go to yp.com. Now, it's called Other Things in Other Countries. I believe it's Yell in the UK, and we have actually integrated with several countries Yellow Pages things. Okay. How long will these be available? I'll probably leave these up for a while, VB. So enter your question there. So anyway, so if you go in here and you type in a business name, I've done some here, like roofers near 75070. You can see a lot of businesses that are in here. Okay. Some that are advertising in here. And this is the organics down here, and I don't know how they factor their rankings in Yellow Pages. I don't even really know how many people actually visit here, but I guess some people do because people are spending money on advertising. But anyway, it's a source for people that have businesses in your neighborhood. And since it's a digital source, and since it has an API, we can talk to it, and we can tell it to give us all the people that we want. So it's real simple. We go in here and let me go ahead and put in roofers again, and I can even compare these with the other ones. I want to say United States. You can change this if you want. I just leave it at 5. I have been known to get out a little bit further, but for this demo, I'm just going to do 5. The minimum max results is 50. You can obviously do more, but it takes a little longer to process. Here are the countries that we're currently integrated with: Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Singapore, and Portugal. And that's mainly because some of our users have requested those countries so that they could get to work. And it's worked out pretty good. Yellow Pages isn't in every single country in the world, right? And they don't, none of those have an API except for the United States. And for us to tap into all the rest, we had to develop our own crawlers and things. Someone says New Zealand. If you can tell me what business directory source you have in NZ, if there's a Yellow Pages NZ, shoot that link to me. It's probably, I don't know, probably yellow.com.nz, but we can certainly take a look at getting that together. We were actually, my guys are good, let's just put it that way, and they were actually able to hammer out Singapore and Portugal pretty quickly. Now, in the future, being that it's not an API, and if they change their interface and something changes, it could break. That's just the nature of the beast. Don't panic, don't freak out. Just let me know. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yellow.co.nz. Branko, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Yellow.co.nz. See about that for me real quick. Please mute yourself. Put yourself back on mute, Brent. Thank you. Okay, so there you go. We're going to look into yellow.co.nz right now. Thank you for suggesting it. So roofers 75070. That's my neighborhood here in North Dallas, Texas. Start finding leads. What this tool does right now, it goes out and basically just does what I explained. It hits YP, and it's basically going to pull back all of these guys right here, the top 50. It's going to pull back all of these guys right here. But this is kind of hard to, poke and click and write down and remember and copy and paste. So we're going to go ahead and extract all that data, and it's going to present it to us here in just a second, and then we're going to be able to look at that and try to pick out the ones with the best contact information, and I'll show you that in just a minute, how we do that. Okay, looks like it's finished. Now, the first thing that I want to do is, because I typically like to do my first contact via email, all right, so I'm going to sort by email. You see that when I click on the email field? I get all these guys right here with emails, okay? See all these? See all those? See all those emails? There's actually quite a few emails. Wow. Sometimes you don't see as many. Now, that doesn't mean we can't get the email on a later extraction point. So if you see one you really like, we can still try and contact them by other means of obtaining their email addresses. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you what I like to do. Now, I could select the whole page if I wanted to and run a check on all these, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to spend too much time the thing processes, because we're only going to look at a couple of them anyway. So let me go ahead and select the first 5. And what we're going to do now is we're going to send these particular businesses over to this local listings analysis, which you can use by itself if you have the business name, okay? But so we're doing a starting point where we don't have any business names, but we went and scraped a lot of businesses in our area, and now we're going to analyze them for what kind of online media presence do they have. And this will tell us things like, do they found in Google? Here it comes right now. Already we're getting data back. So now we can see, obviously, if there's a green check mark, that means they're found there, which is, good for them. If they're not found, obviously there's a red X there, and that is where your opportunity lies. Okay, so you can tell that this person is not found, does not have a business listing found on Google. And to me, that's the biggest sign that they're not paying someone to help them, because that's the easiest thing for any search engine or online marketing specialist to do. That's the first thing you do. Am I right? Am I right? That's the first thing you do, is claim their business listing on Google. You know, if they're paying someone to help them, that's the first thing that's done. So this is a good indication to me that possibly no one is helping this company, and they don't have a Facebook, they don't have a Twitter, they're not found in any of the search engines. They're on Foursquare, which means, you know, that somebody might be doing something, they're listed there, so they have a little bit of understanding perhaps of what's going on online. They understand Yelp, obviously. Their business listing is found there. So this would be, to me, a pretty good target. And number one, the reason why number one they're a good target is they don't have a Google, they're not found in Google as far as claiming their business listing. That's what that is in Google My Business. But they have a little bit going on here, not much, okay? And believe me, I mean, every time I look at this, every time I get ready to do a search on a new market, I see this over and over again. These people are not being helped. There's just so much opportunity out here. It's too much opportunity for any one person. So then what we do basically is, once we analyze, we sort of pick out the best one. Now this page isn't going to go anywhere, okay? Let's go ahead and pick out one where we know we have a good email address, sales at Hutchins Review. Sales, who doesn't answer the email that starts with the word sales? So that's a really good way to get through to someone. So I'm going to go ahead and click that that business right there. And what that's done now is it's loaded up another page. You see, I still have my page over here. Okay, so this didn't go anywhere. I just opened up a new tab, and here's all my previous reports that I've ran in this account. And so now, basically, I can do this real quickly. I can load my profile right now, Interwebs Media. I load everything up in here. This currently uses Mandrill, and we are going to add all of the other mail sending APIs to this interface as soon as possible. We developed them all really quickly for the mobile prospecting tool, because that's where the majority of the users were, and that's where we really had to get a handle on everything. But we're currently in the process of moving all of the really cool features that we already developed in the mobile prospector area and putting them over here on the site auditor area. So you're going to see a lot of improvements, not a lot of new developments over here on this tool. Okay, so what's happened now is, once I click that button, it automatically loaded the client's website, the client's keyword, the client's name, their zip code, and client's email address. Now, the client's ranking keywords, you might want to edit this, because the only thing that I used over there, if you remember, was the word roofers. Well, they're probably not going to show up for the word roofers at all, right? But will they show up for roofers in McKinney? Okay. I just hit enter, and I shouldn't have. Let me go ahead and stop that. So, if you want to add more keywords there, you can. Probably a good idea if you have any more. Local's kind of easy. It's really what their industry is in their city, you know. Or then sometimes you can do, like, you know, Texas. That would be a different keyword. Do they show up like that? Something like that. But most people just put in their city. Okay, anyway, client's name, client zip code, and then here's the client's email. Remember when I said earlier that don't get too worried about if you can't find an email, because what we can also do is click this button right here and try to extract the emails from the client's website or the Whois database or other areas. So we're probably going to come up with a couple of more emails that we can attempt to send to. Right now it's going out and crawling the web in several different areas. Okay, so it did. It went out and found 2 more emails. Now, obviously, hostmaster at oneandone.com, no. Okay, that's straight off of Whois record. Well, we're going to present it to you anyway, but you just need to just eyeball it for 1 second and click it off. Now, weshutchinsons@gmail.com. You know, that's probably the owner, right? The Hutchins Roofing. His first name is probably Wes. You could probably even start this report with "Hi Wes," right? I just checked out your website. I was cruising the web today, and I just checked out your website, and it's got a little bit of trouble if you care to talk about it someday. You know, just be cool. You know, Steve has provided a lot of really good base templates for all of us to use, and they're really awesome. And you know, I like to take those and kind of put the, you know, the good old boy twist on it, kind of, you know, just be like you're talking straight up to him. Hey, man, how's it going? I know you're busy, but listen, I was just, you know, browsing through some roofers in the area, and you know, I'm so and so with so and so company, and I know a lot about online media presence, and I'd like to see if I can help you out if you're interested, right? And oh, by the way, I went ahead and took the time and generated a report for your website, and that's what we're going to get to next. So after we've done these two things, we go ahead and you can, you know, you can take off some of these. If for some reason you don't want to show them one of these, then you can uncheck it, but I say run them all. And right now it looks like this is already generating this report. I think I messed up when I hit enter. When I hit enter on that keyword, it sort of tanked it. So I'm going to go ahead and start this over, and I'll just show you how fast it is. Okay, load my profile. Basically, I just load my profile right there. I check my keyword, Hutchins Roofing. I'm not going to do that test again because it'll take. I'm not going to do that extract again. But then I just click Generate Report, and now this should take not very long, but it does take a few minutes because what it's doing is going out here and running all of these reports. Okay, so it's going out and gathering up a lot of data. So we'll let that run for a minute, and I'll step over here and see about your questions. Australia, I believe, is in. Absolutely. Branko, Australia works, right? I think so. I think I just saw it. As a matter of fact, I know it's there.
Yeah, and New Zealand can be connected as well.
Okay, and I just got word. I know you guys can't hear Branko, but I have him in my ear. And New Zealand can be implemented as well. So, Sham, your Yellow Pages in New Zealand is on the way. Research has found that Australia is crazy when it comes to mobile and mobile speed. Yeah, you know, I heard that. I've got some friends in over there in Australia, and you know, they always rub it in that their speed is so much better than the U.S. I think the U.S. always gets for some reason, we're always the last one to get the super high mobile speed. I think that's true, right? I mean, you guys have had 4G for like 10 years. And the U.S. got 4G like 2 years ago. Isn't that true? I don't know. They used to come over here to the States and then make fun of us for having slow Wi-Fi, slow mobile. All right. Question. What tool are you in now? Site Auditor and something else. The tool that I was just in case you missed it, I went from the Yellow Pages lead finder to the local listings analysis, and then I clicked on the magnifying glass inside of the local listings analysis, opens up a new tab, and now I have switched over. My report has finished generating. You saw that it took roughly 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes while I was talking to generate this report because it does a lot of stuff. Okay, and so now once it's done generating the report, now we can preview this report and take a look at it, make sure it looks good. I notice here that I'm missing my logo. Does not look good, so I'll have to fix my profile on that, but obviously that's easy. I can preview the report, I can edit the report, I can send a test email to myself, or I can go ahead and just send this to the client. So this is the message to the client. As you'll notice that all I did was put in the short codes because I wanted to make sure, or I wanted to show you what these short codes will look like. Okay. And yeah, now I know that doesn't look like a cool URL, but it's just being masked. Okay, it's just being masked. It's really it's really going to go to something like this. Okay, this is what's the underlying. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that right now, and it's going to open up. And this is what the client will see. But I'm going to back up. I want to come back to that in just a second. I just want to open that link up. So that's the shareable link. That's the link that goes in the report. It's this right here. But just understand that this is the mask. This is the anchor text. Okay, and this is what's actually underneath it. All right, moving on. We can see right here that his overall score is 32. Okay, which is kind of low. Okay, and again, his local visibility score, no Bing, no Google, no Yahoo. He does have a few more areas that are okay. Here's his keywords. He's on position 18. So you know what? This tells me this is a great prospect, because if you're on page 18, if you've got a local client on page 18, it's actually really, really easy to pop him on page 1, because you know he's already got a decent website, or he wouldn't be on page 2. You know he's already got most of it down, or he wouldn't be on page 2. Now you know what he needs? A few powerful backlinks from a few powerful PBNs. Not a few powerful PBNs, but one powerful PBN. Maybe 4 at the most, maybe 5 links from your PBN to this website. This guy's on page 1 in 3 weeks. You're getting paid. I promise you, if you build a powerful PBN with 10 to 20 blogs in it, and you post content about roofers and point them to hutchinsroofing.net, this guy would jump to page 1 very quickly. I've seen it, done it too many times. And if you get a client that's willing to pay you and they're on 18 because they're stuck on page 2 and they know that all the money's on page 1, if you get someone that realizes that and you've got a PBN, it is cash in the bank. You could tell him, look, I'll give you a month free. You pay me when you hit page 1. And I guarantee you, you'll be able to say that with so much confidence that that conversation's it will be over in 5 minutes, because they're just going to believe you. And then, or just do it for them and say, you know what, I don't even want your money. I'm going to do it. And then, you know what? If they don't want to pay you after you've done it, you remove their links, and their site goes bye-bye. Their site comes back down to where it was, right? Don't be a jerk about it, of course, but, just let them know, hey, kid's got to eat. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. You know what I'm saying? All right. So moving on down, this would be a great opportunity. I mean, I see that right there, and I just like, whoa, my eyes light up. Okay, moving on, desktop performance analysis. You can explain to them that, yeah, you've got a score of 70, which is okay, not great, but okay. And here's some problems. Here's some problems that you could do, or hire your web designer, or hire us to fix for you to improve your page speed. Okay, we should be working on. Maybe that's why you're only on page 18. Maybe it's because it's your page score. Could be. Probably not, but could be. Your site is not mobile friendly. Okay, even if we do get you to page 1, you've got a problem here. We need to take care of that too. So there's another opportunity to service a client that is in need. You know what? The best part of it is that once this guy pays you a few $100s, and they hit page 1, they get a $10,000 roof. They're going to love you. They're going to pay you forever. Okay, here's some more issues. This site has no power. It has no trust flow. Look, this tells me that look at this, 0 backlinks. Okay, there's another great example. This site is sitting on page 18, sitting on page 2 at number 18 with no backlinks. Does everybody understand that? You shove a couple of backlinks from a powerful PBN to him, he is automatic. It looks like a pretty good site. I mean, look at it. It looks good, right? You're looking at it like this. I mean, I know it's not mobile friendly but this is what it looks like on a mobile device, and it's got these problems, but it's what it looks like on desktop, which is pretty good looking. Anyway, no backlinks, no referring domains, and he's on page and he's 18. Like something spiked up here but went away. Maybe somebody spammed him and he disavowed everything. That could have happened. Let's see, February of 13, October 14. Yeah, you know what might have happened here is that he did hire someone. They spammed him to death, and then Penguin got him and took him out, and then he, paid someone else to disavow all those links, and now he might be once bitten, twice shy. Anyway, moving on, more general info. These are just the talking points. Once you get the guy on the phone, or or you just try and convey, he sees red, you're like, oh, what's all this red mean? They're going to call you. They're going to call you. Your contact info's up here at the top. They're going to call you. We need to add a contact form on top of these pages. I don't think that's implemented yet. Branko, you see that?
No, not yet there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get that big contact form up here like we did on Mobile Prospector. We do need to add that right here, so we'll get that in. Yep. And so yeah, so this is if you want to edit something, we can click Edit and go back over here and edit. Anything we want to change, all that, and then regenerate the report. After we've edited it, we can regenerate it. I'm not going to do that now, but it goes in and changes up these things. So that, in a nutshell, is how we go from no one to help, right, to someone that if you look at it for a few minutes, and I know it took me 25 minutes to explain all that to you, but once you've done it a few times, once you can see these things, once you understand a little bit more, once you hang around a little bit longer, I know there's a lot of people on here that already go, Todd, you're boring me to death. Show me the good stuff. I already know all this stuff. How do I, I'm already seeing that. What's a PBN and how do I build a PBN and how can you help me with my PBNs? Those guys that get that, yeah, you're ahead of the curve. But for those of you that aren't quite there yet, just hang around a little bit. Hang around with us. Thank you, Gilbert. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so just look at this stuff from a online media presence mind, and then explain this kind of stuff to the business owner. And I mean, Steve already went over like all kinds of great sales training. I highly encourage you to go back and watch that again. I can't wait to watch it again, to be honest. I was like, I wish I could be taking notes, but I thought, oh yeah, I'm recording it, so I'm gonna have to watch that again. So awesome training from Steve, and then combined with the amount of knowledge that you can throw on somebody just by looking at it. I mean, you can do a screen share with them over Skype if they're that technologically advanced. That kind of may or may not happen, but just talking with someone on the phone and going over this report while they're looking at it and you're looking at it is huge. They get it, right? I mean, for those of you that didn't know all of this stuff, and me explaining it to you, did I make sense? I mean, if you don't know anything about SEO and online media, and just the main thing right here, how I explained how you're on page 18 with no backlinks and things like that, yeah, you can certainly just explain that in layman's terms, and they'll see it, even if they know nothing about, nothing about SEO and how it works. You can just say, the reason why I ran this report right here is like, wow, this is the holy grail of what's up. This is how much power your site has. None. But let me tell you what your potential is, pal. You're on page 2. So you've done a great job on page, in my opinion. I could go over here and look at another tool. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now because you guys have this tool as well. I'm going to go ahead and copy that link just to get some more data because now I'm fired up about this guy. I'm going to come over here to the on-page SEO scanner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and enter. I didn't plan on doing this earlier, guys, but now I'm fired up. Thinking about calling this guy now. He's in my neck of the woods. So now what I can do, now I'm analyzing all of his on-page stuff, and I can really start to see, what he's got going on here. So he doesn't have much, right? He's only got construction, gallery, roofing, inspections, and employment. Okay, that doesn't say anything about shell roofing, shingle roofing. There's so much more that you could add to this website to get him more business, to target more keywords. All right, and then I can simply click on that. Now I can look at his website, I can look at his title, I can look at his description, I can look at his keywords. Terrible. They're all like national phrases, right? There's no locale in here, which would help. So we can go through here and we can look at styles, so we can look at scripts. Okay, that's not really that important. We can look at all the images on his site and what their URL. Look, no alt tags. None of his images have alt tags. Like for instance, this is a shingle roof. This should have an alt tag that says shingle roof. And then this site could possibly rank for someone looking for a shingle roof in McKinney, Texas. Perfect example of gutters. Okay, there's no alt tag that describes we're looking at a gutter. Google doesn't know, and then also this nothing in this URL says I'm looking at a gutter. Okay, so there's just some few things you can look at this from an SEO perspective and help this guy tremendously. And it fires me up that he's already on page 2. All right. So his count, he's got roofing, construction. Oh, he's got McKinney in there. Okay, so that's why he's page 2 for, he's got the term McKinney in there. That's good. But he could also be ranking for all the towns around us. There's 5 other towns around us that are the same size that would triple his business. Anyway, so there's some who is info. That's not really that important. But now that's just the home page. Now if I just want to look at all his pages, I can just go to the next. That's the index. Here's the about page. I can do the same thing, analyze it, construction page. Also one of the really cool things I like about this tool is I'm able to analyze competition. The top guys in the industry, like what are they targeting? Who are the guys that have had some professional SEOs work on their site? If it's an industry that I don't know, I can use this tool to see what they're working on. I can use this tool to see what they're targeting just by looking at their URLs. Now this person obviously isn't a great example for that, but if I went to the number 1, 2, or 3 listing in Roofers and McKinney's and ran this tool on them, I could see exactly what they're targeting because those guys have had some professionals work on their websites because roofers aren't SEOers. And there's a lot of good SEOs out there. I mean, a lot of bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones. Okay, so that is got off base a little bit, but I hope you guys sort of can see. Hope I'm helping you guys learn a little bit more about how to do some SEO here and how to talk to people and how to look for things, look for angles, and come at them that way. So yeah, good stuff. Levy, I will respond to you shortly. Thank you, Robert. Cool stuff indeed. Yeah, so that's really it. I don't want to start repeating myself on any of this stuff, but that's the Yellow Pages Lead Finder. That's how you go from, picking out a good guy. That was the first guy I picked too. It's not always like that, right? You don't always hit the nail on the head the first time you swing it with a blindfold on, because that's basically what I did. But you can go through them here, and you can teach someone how to do that as well, or spend the first hour of your day or something looking at potential business in your area. You'll find them. They're there, and you just gotta reach out and be confident. Now, I did mention PBNs, and I would not be doing you guys. I would be doing you guys a disservice if you didn't. Look, there's been a lot of courses on PBNs in the last couple years, and it's primarily due to the course that I made, Blog Network Blueprint, blognetworkblueprint.com. This is was the very first course that was. This is reloaded. This is my 2015 edition, by the way. But my very first edition came out, I believe, in 2011. Been a few years. Might have been 12. Might have been 10. I can't remember. A few years ago, I did the first one, and this is kind of what exposed everyone out there to PBNs. And now, everybody rehashed this content and made a $17 ebook and a PDF. But, there's a little more to it than most of those books and stuff will tell you. This course goes over everything. I'm not asking you to go buy this at all by any means. I'm not pitching you that at all or anything like that. I'm just letting you know that when it comes to private blog networks, I'm kind of the godfather of that. If I don't say so myself, I started doing private blog networks back in 2003. So it's been over 12 years that I started building private blog networks, and I'm actually the inventor of SEO hosting, if you know what that is. And that has to do with, that's part of building a private blog network. And the command center here, the SEO command center, actually used to be called PBN Express. We called it PBNX because the first iteration of this thing was all about how I could find, host, and post, find, build, host, and post a private blog network. You know, easy, fast, and get the job done and get in and out. Because private blog networks are basically the way the pros do SEO. If you're going to go out there and compete in some fairly competitive niches like roofing, roofing's competitive, dentist is competitive, lawyers is competitive, you know, on the first page in top 5. And we're not talking about the Google 7-pack, we're just talking about the organic listing. Google 7-pack, that's a whole other animal and has to do with citations and such and reviews. But the organic listings are very profitable if you can get there, and every single person that is there is using a private blog network. They're all creating their own. And I built this tool. I'm not going to go over the whole tool with you. There's a video on your dashboard. I did a webinar yesterday and kind of spent about an hour going over all of the things that it does. But you know, we find domains using these two tools, finding high-powered domains, and we get them hosted, and you know, we get them deployed, and then we use the post and link manager to post content to them to point back to our money sites. That's basically it in a nutshell. Domain tools is how we do a lot of domain analyzing in order to find the perfect domains for us to build PBNs around, analyze all of our competitors' domains to see exactly how much power they have, to see what they're doing to rank on the first page. We use tools like that. There's a lot of other stuff in here like Instant Link Indexer, Index Checker. Another very, very important aspect of your SEO, because SEO is where you know, making a mobile site is like we discussed first. I mean, it's a good way to get your foot in the door and get started. It's fast, it's easy, it's cheap. Not cheap in the sense that the product's cheap, but it's cheap for you to pull off that service. If you go to mobile solutions in your sidebar, I don't have it on mine, but you have mobile solutions in yours, and there's, I mean, simple WordPress plugins could maybe even solve the client's problem, and then they'll be like, wow, you fixed it. Great, now what? But anyway, rank tracking is also a good thing to know. I mean, look, I want you guys to I've got some a few case studies in here that I've been doing, and there's a couple of sites right here that have gone up really quickly using some PBNs. So building PBNs is the way to go. But really, I'm not gonna. I don't want to go over that again because it's on your dashboard. There's another webinar. You can spend an hour. We've already been on here for an hour and a half now. I know you guys are busy and got cool stuff to do. So with that, you know, I'll take a few more questions and then we'll sign off here in a few minutes. Jeffrey Jones, if you don't mind issuing a support ticket on that particular subject, then I'm sure we'll fix that right away. Good, useful info, helping. When will the replay of this be up? It will be up probably, you know, later this evening. I still have to encode it, compress it, upload it, and do all those things. So a few hours. What'd you put it in, Jeff, today? Okay, Marco, can you go find Jeffrey Jones? He says he doesn't see the mobile site builder, so we will fix that for you. You should see it. Every now and then somebody's account has a little bit of a crack in it, but we fix the cracks. Okay, I see a lot of good stuff here. A lot of good. Everyone's getting it. I see everyone really understood that. Good. Yeah, Ken, you do need to do some things when you're building your PBN to hide yourself a little bit. I go over everything inside Blog Network Blueprint. One of the things, if you upgrade to the full SEO Command Center, you do get the university, and the university is actually a Blog Network Blueprint for free. So if you already have an account, you can log in or you can register. But we go over all that stuff. It's not necessarily always a different hosting provider, but it's mainly has to do with the variation of your IPs. There's some myths out there. There have been some kids that like just to say stuff, to hear themselves speak and sound like they know what they're talking about, when sometimes it makes logical sense here and there, but the fact of the matter is that it's all good. All right, so with that, I guess we're done. That's a wrap. Steve, I'm not sure if you're still with me.
Yeah,
but,
I am.
To everyone else. Okay, great. All right. Well, that was, I think, a excellent webinar. I think we covered some really good topics there, and I hope it. Actually, I know it's going to help everyone that listens to it.
Definitely. I'm going to get this converted, and I'll get this over to you, Todd.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, Steve.